Today, we're joined by Arin Sime, CEO and founder of several organizations, including custom web and software development firm Agility Feet. Thanks for being here today, Arin.
Thanks so much for having me, Peter. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure. Cheers. So, Arin, you're based in Panama City. Why did you choose Panama as your nearshore base?
Yeah, absolutely. So I split my time between the U.S. and Virginia and Panama City, and there's a few different reasons for that. For me personally, as a U.S. citizen, the friendly nations visa that Panama offers was really easy to use. It was a very easy way for myself and my family to get permanent residency in Panama. That was great because I was looking for a location where I could combine my business interests with sort of my long-term personal goals and, looking forward to kind of fully retiring there in the future. So the visa is certainly a big help. And the location of Panama is wonderful. I get to go back and forth between here and the U.S. It's very easy. There's, very convenient direct flights, and of course, it's a very central location to all of the Americas. So, given the amount of travel that I do, it's a really great location for that. And then on top of all of that, it's a very stable, business friendly environment. So, really attractive for an entrepreneur such as myself.
Hmm. Absolutely. And within Panama itself, is there anything happening within, perhaps the tech ecosystem that makes it an ideal and inviting place to base your nearshore company?
Yeah, absolutely. So for us at Agility Feed, our team has always been highly distributed over the last decade. And so we have a benefit that we've always been able to source talent from across the Americas. And so the fact that Panama is a relatively small country is not an issue for us, which is great. But but there are still definitely things about Panama that have made it a really great location for us to set up that base for our nearshore work. First and absolutely not the least is just really excellent infrastructure in Panama City. I've worked from other locations where I've had trouble with getting reliable internet or power outages and such like that. Right, not an issue in Panama City as for sure. So the infrastructure is huge, of course. Also has a large technology base, primarily oriented around the banking industry, which is not the sort of software development work that we do, so we can't necessarily hire directly from that with the same applicable skill sets. But it's still been a really good base for us to establish our software testing group in particular is the primary portion of our company that we have located physically in Panama at the moment. And sourcing talent from the banking industry there has been great for us. But then I think also there's a lot of up and coming aspects of Panama that I'm excited about. They've been uh, prior to the pandemic, especially and sort of hindered by that, like everywhere I imagine, but it's still a growing startup and tech community. There's a part of the old canal zone in Panama City is now the city of knowledge. So locations like that they're really trying to encourage a growth and technology minded community. And that's great for tech oriented businesses such as myself. And so in the longer term, that gives me also a lot of optimism about having Panama as a base for our operations, and really confident that we'll be able to tap into that more over time, and hopefully, especially as the pandemic eases, and be able to really tap into that local community more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, as a tech-oriented company, as you said, for Agility Feet, what are the greatest challenges ahead? Obviously, you've got the search for talent, it'll be ongoing. But aside from that, what do you see as being the big obstacles for the company and companies like yours in the next few years?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard sometimes to look past the search for talent as being the biggest challenge for a software development company, for any tech company, because that is so crucial, and it's only become harder in recent years for sure. But that is it's a constant part of our operations, of course, for ourselves and as part of the work that we're doing for our clients. But beyond searching and finding for that talent to really recruiting, rather retaining that talent and training that talent are two key aspects. So in terms of retaining that talent, I think there uh, one of the aspects of so much work from home becoming so prevalent across the nearshore industry, across a global economy, is that it is a lot easier for people to move around, right? And our company has always been remote first. The vast majority of our team has always worked from home for over a decade. So for us as an organization, that was nothing new for us. But nonetheless, because it's now more widespread across the industry, it does make it easier for people to want to move from one job to another. And so we can both suffer from that as well as be the beneficiary of it in terms of retaining our own talent and also being able to attract talent from other companies and other regions. So that's a constant challenge: is how do you, in that newish at this point, work from home environment, how do you make sure to retain that talent and have that sense of community in the software developers and in our company in particular, because it is easier for them and more common now to be able to do that work directly with other companies as well outside of their own region. And then in technology in particular, in software development, I think that we're really at an inflection point. And in technology, you always have to keep learning. There's always new tech to learn, and everything that you build in software feels like every 5 or 6 years you have to rebuild it anyways, because there's a whole new technology stack, a new favorite programming language that you have to learn. So a lot of that is just kind of part and parcel of being a software development agency. We're used to that, but still, the growth and change right now is much larger, and I think we're at an inflection point. And so a lot of what that means is that finding the talent that we need for some of the specialized work is particularly hard. And so a real challenge is training the talent that we have in these new technologies. And one example of that is part of our work is specialized in building live video applications, and that's a very niche skill that's become much more important because of the pandemic. We've certainly benefited as a company in already having that skill and experience in doing that prior to the pandemic, but it still means that it's very competitive to hire people with that skill right now, and so we have to train most people. So building in more of that sort of technical training, and then throw in other technologies that are becoming more and more discussed in every industry, like blockchain and things like that, that we're really at an inflection point in technology that requires a tremendous amount of training, not just recruiting, finding that talent, but training it in the niche capabilities that each organization needs.
Absolutely. Okay. And Aaron, Agility Feet also has presence in Honduras and Nicaragua. And for nearshore stakeholders, these two countries are probably more commonly associated with the BPO and call center industry. What do they offer in terms of technical abilities of the talent pool for tech-oriented companies?
Yeah, we've definitely found some excellent individuals in both Honduras, Nicaragua, other countries as well, in the region like Guatemala, that are some of the most talented members of our team. And I think for us, part of the benefit of that, my business partner is Costa Rican, and he already had some connections in each of those countries that allowed us to find some really unique individual talent that was great. But I think that there's still the BPO talent is still interesting because it's an example of how we need to constantly retrain people with changing technology. So, for example, we have a really talented member of our team in Nicaragua who had past experience in BPO and call centers, and he was able to translate that experience in working with us into becoming more of a security and DevOps expert based on the past sort of more traditional call center networking experience that he had. And so being able to take, because it is hard to find the specific skills that we're often looking for, being able to find people with comparable enough skills and the desire to learn and excitement about doing something beyond maybe the traditional BPO industry, or being able to try something a little bit different. That's really where we've been able to thrive in our hiring, and I think that places like Honduras and Nicaragua are a great place to look for that sort of talent.
And so, Aaron, what other nearshore markets would you suggest fellow tech entrepreneurs should check out or revisit?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it depends on the skills that you're looking for and where you have the most connections. Our company, we got started primarily in Central America because of the connections that we had in Costa Rica and Panama already. But we've definitely worked across the Latin America market. And in software development in particular, we've had a lot of success recently in finding experienced engineering talent in Brazil and Sao Paulo, and so certainly looking to continue that growth. And we haven't done as much yet in Colombia, but obviously, definitely a growing area and a long history of nearshoring there as well. And I think the tech community there is growing quite a bit. And we've had good success recently also finding some strong technical talent there. And I know my business partner just went to a conference there and came back really charged up about our growth opportunities in Colombia. So those are two areas in particular that we're thinking about right now.